Okay, so thanks for joining us today for Over a Brew podcast. We're going to be discussing the YouthShedz initiative at Rhondda, the new shed that's being set up on Rhondda campus, which we're hoping will create that safe and inclusive space for young learners, maybe those who've disengaged from education previously. So just to introduce myself, my name is Dorian Adkins. I'm the head of Foundation Learning in the college. Scott, do you want to introduce yourself?
Scott Jenkinson, and I'm founder and chief shed planter. That's my unofficial title, chief shed planter.
I like it.
There you go.
Oh, and I'm Amy. I'm a Cymoedd extra coach, but I'm going to be sort of running the day-to-day. I'm the champion of YouthShedz
Shed champ
at Rhondda campus.
Okay, so Scott, I mean, you've been doing this for some time now, the YouthShedz movement. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how that came to be?
Yeah, I'll try and keep it in a nutshell. the nutshells get bigger, so I say it. But I think the first thing to say was education. Education was rubbish for me. Hated it. Hated going to school. Hated being at school. And couldn't wait to get out of school. That was pretty much it. Undiagnosed ADHD. What I now know about trauma, adverse childhood experiences, stuff like that. All of that was going on for me as a sort of 13, 14-year-old. And then as soon as I left school, couldn't get in the army, which is what I wanted. That's all I wanted. And so I say now that I wandered. I just wandered. I went from town to town. I went to London, trying to find my way, and got very lost in the midst of it all. Ended up, keeping it short, but I ended up a heroin addict. I ended up in prison, and just ended up on the streets in London. And really, I sort of say wasted the first 20 years of my life. But my mum said to me one day, "No, that was your work experience."
Yeah,
I thought, I like that. That was my work experience. Yeah. So I ended up coming to North Wales, and I got into a rehab eventually after 18 years on the drugs and the alcohol. And it's the really cool thing is I always say education ruined me, but also education saved me. That's because I love education. I love learning. And I found that love when I came out of rehab. I'm a Christian, so my faith is important. But I often say that faith's the fuel, education's the vehicle for my new life. And I met when I got back into college, and I met inspirational teachers. I met teachers that changed lives. Really changed lives. And I went on a journey of becoming one. So I qualified as a teacher, did my PGCE, which I think you're going to be doing soon, aren't you? Yeah, cool. Did my PGCE. Did a lot of working worked with ex-offenders, worked with in homelessness, substance misuse and whatnot as a teacher. And I never wanted to work with kids. I always said that. I said, I couldn't cope working with young people. And I look back now, and I think it's just that I identified more with the adults, and I felt comfortable with adults who had a similar journey. So I got frustrated with the outcomes and target world I was working in, and I went self-employed, and I set up 428 training, and that was just working with organisations, trying to work with some of the more challenging people to try and engage them in things, because I see people life skills have got amazing skills, amazing. When what you pick up in life, and I wanted to draw that out of people. So I started doing employability courses, and then I got frustrated again. Most charities are born from frustration, I believe, and I got frustrated then about employability skills. A lot of the organisations I was working for, it had been reduced to CV writing and cover letters. And when people used to come and see me, young people now, when I was at NACRO, they would show me this CV, and I knew who wrote it. I could tell which person, Careers Wales or whoever, had written it. And I just thought, this is missing. These young people are missing the wonder of education, because people are doing it for them,
Tick
you know.
box employability
Absolutely,
skills
yeah,
without the actual,
absolutely. So I started doing the essential employability skills framework, and again, got frustrated. A lot of frustration in my life, isn't there? But then I saw this amazing opportunity. You know, you've got people on these courses doing organising and planning, creative thinking. I can't remember all of the elements now, but there's 5 strands to it. And then at the end of it, in a classroom, they have to do a controlled task in a classroom. And I thought, what a waste of an opportunity. Why don't we give them a controlled task and say, go out and do it in the world? You know, so that's what I did. I started doing courses like that, but giving them a real scenario, a real thing to overcome. We did lots, so I'm not going to go into all of them, but the key one for YouthShedz, though, was I was working with some homeless young people. I was self-employed, so I had to work with young people, even though I didn't want to. I just hadn't met many. That was the thing. Once I met them, I was like, wow. You know what I mean? Like today, you know, it's been buzzing here today, hasn't it? You know,
It's been lush.
young people. I've said a few times, I know the diversity of the young people here. There's bits, there's colours, and you know, there's everyone here, isn't there? So what I was doing, I was doing employability with this group of young people, but I was also asked to help another 2 kids who were going off the rails. They weren't in school. They'd had a lot of stuff going on for them. So I decided to put them together. So the scenario, excuse me, the scenario for my new group was to come up with a solution for those 2. And there was no qualification. We didn't have any. I asked the person employing me, Group Cynefin it was, I asked them to remove any outcomes and targets and said, let's just see where this goes. So I gave them this scenario, and we went on this wonderful journey together of learning about adverse childhood experiences, of learning about the challenges facing young people and whatnot. And we ended up, so we need a base to do this from, so we got given a double garage, and we just ate pizza together, and then we like, should we paint the walls? Painted the walls, and you know, and it was just very organic. And before you knew it, they'd created this space. And one of the young people turned to me one day and, Scott, men have got men's sheds in Wales. Why can't we have a youth shed? And I went, you're in it. And what we'd done is just very organically created this space that the young people had created, where they were learning. They were doing wonderful things, and we started doing little community projects and looking out. They didn't want to be just things given to them. They wanted to look out, and so that started the journey. And then another town got in touch and said, "Oh, well, we won an award, best homeless project in the United Kingdom." So we ended up going to London. So big fancy, and we've just won actually the Crime Beat Award for the whole country as well, which is bonkers. You know, when you think all we started was over pizza, you know, and this thing's grown. But it's really grown into what I say now is a community of YouthShedz that have a shared vision. We have shared principles, and it's a space that's created by the young people. This is a new thing now, where we're at now, because I'm very conscious. I can go into a lot of detail about all of that. What we've found now, it's been great for 7 years, and we've done amazing things, and we've got sheds all over the place, and we've got a franchise pack that we're trialing here. But what we've found now, the young people have changed, haven't they? The backdrop to youth now, post-COVID, more and more young people who are what they call them, reduced timetables.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of that at the moment. I mean, you know, the cohort that we're bringing in now were year 6 going into year 7 during COVID. So I think we are finding a lot of that sort of disengagement from you know, formal studies, whether that's anxiety, undiagnosed needs. And I think it's really important that we're able to provide these environments and these spaces for learners to re-engage with their education and really thrive. And I think obviously what you're doing with YouthShedz at the moment really.
And that's because we never set out to do anything like that. We've the visions, a shed in every town, connected. I'm a big fighter against county lines. So we do county lines for good. We get young people doing things together for good. We like to build on the pro-social identity of young people. So we get people coming to us. You know, we've got one young lad who hasn't been in school for, I think, 4 years. He's only 14 now. He's been coming for a couple of years. Always got kicked out of everything because of his profile. And we did a litter pick with him, something as simple as a litter pick. We got an outreach bus. We went out into the community and he did a litter pick, and the next day he came running back, "Can I do another litter pick?" Because he'd had a pat on the back, not just off his parents, but off the local police and then somebody else. And you know what I mean? And it was like, so we've learnt along the way the theories that underpin all of this. We didn't set out to know about the theory of change and pro-social identity. We sort of, oh, that's what we do. It's a bit like when I did my PGCE, you'll probably find this. When you do your PGCE, you'll find you were already doing it. You just didn't know it was called.
Yeah, you don't know what the
didn't know it was
labels are,
called.
the
Yeah.
terminology,
Yeah, so that's how we've sort of stumbled along, you know. So the education side of it, I've now realised that YouthShedz is uniquely positioned to really, really create, for the young people, to create something that's quite unique just to them, that's going to help them. So that leads us to where we are now. And it's not been without warnings either. You know, I've had a couple of people say to me, you know, we've got to make sure we get it right with the balance of it being young person led and all of that, because what we don't want is it becoming something that doesn't work again. You know,
these learners have, you know, they have disengaged with education for a reason, and I think having that sort of person-centered, learner-led, you know, type of activity really speaks to, you know, them as people, and I think that is so important for them.
Well, I've been talking to a few too. We've had a great day, haven't we?
We've had a lush day.
What's your highlight up to now?
Oh, when that learner who said they were really shaky and they said, "Oh, I can't do the shock buzzer because I'm so shaky," but they gave it a good go and they got really far with it. And it's nice to see them pushing their boundaries that they think they can't do.
That's it, yeah. Well, what we like to do at YouthShedz as well is it's what do they call it? It's we like them to make mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, break things, and obviously not cameras, you know, but you know, get the really
best way to learn, isn't
playing
it?
with stuff, and you know, and having a safe place to be able to do that. Talking to some of the lads today who were on your cookery, I think it was
The 14
catering.
to 16 provision, yeah.
Yeah, about 10 of them, little gang of them, and they were great. So I was explaining a little bit to them before, and what stood out was giving them a space to go and do something different.
Yeah.
You know, because they're on catering, but they actually might want to build a quad.
Yeah.
You know, so you can,
Yeah.
It's
lovely. No, I think that the ethos of the YouthShedz sort of, you know, movement or whatever you would want to call it, community. It really feeds into the profile of learners that we've got here. So I think my department primarily caters for learners who have either previously disengaged from their learning, maybe didn't do as well as they expected to in school for whatever reason, you know, and in addition to that, we've got the 14 to 16 provision now, which is just catching those learners just a little bit earlier. And I think it's really important because they can have this main focus they've got around a qualification, something that speaks to them, whether that's hair and beauty or construction or catering. But also to be engaged with things that interest them outside of education as well, like quad building and that sort of thing. It's just, you know, it's really...
And the way we start as well is always a community project. We get a group, so it was great to see today that some of the feedback from the young people is about what they're passionate about, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we said
what was on your list?
Oh,
well, there wasn't a list, was there? That was the key, wasn't there? There was no list.
There's a form that they then put.
Yeah, what was your passion?
Suggestions in. So we've looked at some of the answers, and it's been lush. They put lots of things in
homelessness.
Yeah,
that's one I
LGBTQ rights.
Yeah,
we've had a lot of, like, Black Lives Matter.
Yeah,
there's lots of things that they're really passionate about, and we said it's a nice segue then as well, maybe into what they want to do further down the line. And they just don't maybe realise it yet, but then they'll end up doing something that they actually enjoy and not just something that they feel like they have to do to make a living. Big
one for me over the years when I've done quite a bit of volunteering, and I think I used to see volunteer when I gave up something because it wasn't working. I used to think I'd failed, But what I look back now, I actually realise it was an opportunity to find out what I actually do want to do. So they weren't failures; they were just I've tried that, didn't go down that route, and I think it's like when they come into college as well. Brilliant to see. What was it? You've got a slogan, haven't you? Don't
Don't ditch.
switch, don't ditch. I saw that and I thought that's amazing, because some people they'll go and they'll try it and then they'll leave them, won't they? And go, well, I've tried college.
And that's that.
That's it.
And it's it's so, I think it's just so natural, really. You'll have parents of learners who have disengaged from their education, and they'll say, well, your uncle's a carpenter, why didn't you go and do carpentry? And they'll come and they will give it a good crack, and after a couple of weeks it's like, this is not really for me. Maybe I want to do creative media or something. And that switch don't ditch campaign for us really sort of helps us to identify those learners who maybe not on the right program and just find something that is right for them.
Well, going back to that community project one, I think it's a really nice way of bringing a YouthShed group together with a sort of a shared, because you might be able to look through those profiles and those answers and find a small group that all want to do something for homelessness. So you get them together. What can we do? We've done some amazing things. I was telling you before, wasn't I, about the first night care packs?
Yeah.
We have a youth shed at a residential school in Wrexham, Tanagai, and their children. We asked them what would really have helped you when you went into care, and they all said, "Oh, a teddy or a torch." Because they're in a care home for the first time. So we got our youth shedders working with them to make first night care packs. So they've all come together, but then what we do is we get the Blind for Stiniog youth shed to do some of the printing of the bags that they're going on. And then we'll get Colwyn Bay to maybe sort the teddy bears out, and then we could get in touch with you and say, do you want to do a bit of this?
Yeah.
So we're bringing it all together.
Collaborate.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, that's it. That's it. And
it's more than just a project for the outer community then. I suppose you're making your own community and making them feel sort of part of something.
Absolutely.
And for those young people to see that they can make a difference and they have got that sense of belonging to a community, I think that is so.
You've mentioned it there, actually. The on our head office, which is also a youth shed, on the door, we've got identity, belonging, and purpose. And I think we spend all our lives trying to figure out our purpose and where we belong and all of that, and it's an ongoing thing, isn't it? So if you can have a community of young people exploring that together, it's I've seen amazing things happen. It's
so Amy, you
yes,
shed champion.
I am, apparently.
What do you see the youth shed looking like on a day-to-day basis? What does a normal day in the shed look like to you?
I suppose it can be different every single day. We want them trying lots of different things and doing things that they are passionate about. But I think what's most important for us is the place where they know they're safe, they belong, creating that sense of community, and it's somewhere they can go, especially when you start college, coming in new. A lot of these learners have come from school without any of their friends. They sort of feel isolated, they feel alone, they feel like they don't necessarily fit into a certain group, into a certain box. So this needs to be a place where that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your diverse needs are, what your sort of upbringing is, what community you've come from. This is sort of where you belong. You can be fully yourself, try lots of different things. We'll do different things every day, and see what works best for them, whilst also obviously helping the outer community then, because they'll build so many employability skills and life skills, things that maybe they necessarily wouldn't be building in the classroom.
Yeah.
It's giving those extra opportunities.
And the key, especially for the ones who have had that negative experience of education, is sort of trying to make them feel that it's not education.
Yeah.
That's your education.
It complements education.
This is to complement it. But actually, it's all education, isn't it? That's the key.
But it's like a little side dish, isn't it?
Yeah, side dish.
You enjoy it a little bit more.
There you go. So you got your main course over there.
And then you've got your side dish.
We're going to catering, shouldn't we? Hey. Brilliant, yeah.
So, can you give us an example, Scott, of something that has gone really well previously in one of your youth sheds, like an example of a success story of a young person?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before about the young lad he was part of this. What we did, have you heard of Glenclin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Glenclin, yeah. So I've been working quite intensively for the last couple of years, sorry, with 3 or 4 young people who really struggle with school. So one's meant to be in the Brew, but never is, pupil referral unit. And one's completely out of school. And then and the thing for those is their emotional, what do you call it? Managing their emotions. Yeah. So what I've been doing a lot of one-to-one work with them, but then you don't want them just doing one-to-one work. They're never going to develop the skills to be able to go back into education, back into college and whatnot. They need to. So what we did with Glenclin, they totally get what we're about. So what we did, we got these 3 young people who are, like I say, not in school and that, and we met with Glenclin every week for 6 weeks. We got the young people to design their course. So right from day one, it was what they wanted to do. Now their profiles are all very similar with the ADHD and stuff. And then so they decided all of the activities they wanted to do, with the end goal being a residential night at Glenclin, which they were never ever taken to because always been seen as too high risk or whatever. So what we did at each of the YouthShedz, we did the one-to-one preparatory work with them. We then used technology for them to meet the course instructors from Glenclin, so they got to know them a little bit. So all the time building their confidence and whatnot. Then we started putting them together as a little group. So their first group activity was indoor climbing centre. So even though they're in a group, it was still quite individual working. And then their second one was gorge walking, where they had to work together to get up this big gorge in North Wales. And by the end of it, like I say, the end goal was for them to have some time at Glenclin, which they've never been allowed. And they did it. They did that, and it was, I think, it was for me one of the best things I've experienced with these young people, because they're all starting now to go back into groups. They're going to school, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's had that effect on
It's
them.
going to. I think it's going to be really more impactful going forward for them, because they're going to step back into school again, which is what we want, isn't it? Every child deserves, has a right to an education, don't they?
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, that's one. I mean, we've got thousands of, the young people really are resilient, aren't they? And it's they just need the support sometimes.
They need the space to thrive.
And then the hoodie as well. That's an important one. When they don't get anything given at YouthShedz. That's another thing. They earn it. They work towards things. And when they've done their community project, get the hoodie and with the name on it and stuff. And and the young people make them as well. The young people in Mockdra make the hoodies for other young people as well.
That's
so
has the YouthShed at the Rhondda got a name, or is it just going to be YouthShed Rhondda? What have we?
I think that's up to them.
This is why she's the champion. Yes.
I don't want to have to be. This is what it is. It's their space. I'm just sort of making it accessible for.
I was waiting for the question, what's a YouthShed? Because when I get asked that, I'm like,
be what you want.
Yes,
it's not actually even going to be. We're not building a shed on the field out there.
We haven't even got any sheds.
We haven't got any sheds, but they can.
It's the people, it's the group, isn't it?
It's the group.
That's what it is.
They can pick a room if they want a room. They can pick if we can maybe convert something into a space for them. If that's what they want, that's
all
what it'll
part
be.
of the journey, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's what we will go over when we look at the sort of train the trainer type preparation stuff is. Actually, the initial startup kit is possibly a pizza and a flip chart.
That's all you need.
I've always said
a
it.
group of young people sit around the table.
Bit of dominoes.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Coffee. And let it flow.
Yeah.
And all of our YouthShedz have started like that. All of them.
Right.
They're all singing, all dancing. Some of the YouthShedz now, especially Mockdra, we do a lot with virtual reality and whatnot. So it becomes it sort of opens out more then to the young people. The other thing as well, which I think is really an important one, especially when you've got your learning journey, is because we promote small groups. We don't want to be a youth club. We don't want to be another class. When I was, I won't say who I was working for, but I was working for someone a long time ago, and I got to work with all of these young people who couldn't cope in school. So guess what I had to do? I had to teach them in a classroom of like 30. I was like, hang on a minute.
Yeah,
So
it's the same
determined,
thing.
you know. So yeah, so we stick to small groups. We're more interested in impact than numbers.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we want. We count impact rather than numbers. But if you've got a group of 4, 5, 6, whatever to start, you might have 4 or 5 YouthShed groups. You know, if you're especially if you're looking at the shared, you know, what were they?
The shared space.
No, the shared ideas and stuff. You might have a group who want to do something to do with homelessness.
Yeah,
so
with
they
similar
could be doing that.
interests and things. Yeah.
So when we do the community projects, is that journey is the start of the YouthShed starting, and that's phenomenal. Just watching them work together towards a goal.
Yeah,
you know, it's it's great.
And how will we identify learners who could potentially be involved with the YouthShedz initiative at Rhondda?
I suppose we're looking for people that maybe don't necessarily feel like maybe they belong. Maybe they don't necessarily fit the box. It's not, we're not targeting like these are the naughty children.
No,
This is what's
absolutely
going to be.
not.
No, it's not about that. It's about making a space for
the ones who would benefit.
Need it. Yeah.
When do you expect this to be up and running?
I suppose we're going to get started from now, really, aren't we? The
journey started, hasn't it?
It has, yeah.
And that's the way of looking at it, really, isn't it? I know it's a bit of a cliche, really, but it is, isn't it? It's you've seen me. I take lots of pictures.
He takes moments.
Yeah, moments
Lovely.
of where
really nice.
seeds have been planted, and then because what we want to try and do it organically. That's the key, isn't it? Rather than coming in going, right, this is what you're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. It's as organic as possible, and see what yours are. They all have a different DNA. I think that's the key. All of them have got a different DNA.
Well, I suppose all the sheds have got to respond to sort of what's in the area that they're in, and
what's going on, what's available, resources, people. My YouthShedz do a lot of fishing.
Yeah.
Because I might be interested in fishing a little bit, you know. But it's great because different people bring those different things, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, so I'm sure all your teachers and your tutors and your coaches, the 1,000,001 different ideas and passions and whatnot, isn't there?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
who knows what it'll look like?
It's really exciting.
Yeah,
it is exciting.
Definitely.
I think today it was really made more sense to me today as well, because like I say, it's different to our usual model, but I've been looking at the last year. I've been looking at what do they call it? Is it enrichment? School enrichment. Yeah, because I wanted to start school. That was my thing for this year. I'll get little ideas, and then I did. I wanted to start school. I thought, we've got something that really works with the young people that we want it to work for, and then I had some. Be careful though it doesn't become a school, and then so I've been navigating that there. But when I saw that girl today, I spoke to a girl who hasn't been in school for 4 years, and I just thought it's the bridge. It's the bridge for that young person, that YouthShed in the middle of it all. Because I'll be honest with you, I got a bit overwhelmed today. I had to go and have some dinner. And I went and sat in my corner and had to go on my phone just because, I have ADHD and all stuff. And it made me realise just what an environment we're in. There's a lot going on, isn't there? So at 51-year-old, I got a little bit overwhelmed. So having spoken to that girl there, and then having my experience of being overwhelmed at 51, which might sound bonkers, but it's still human.
Absolutely.
So putting them two together, I thought that's it. It's the bridge. It's the bridge for those moments where you're feeling a bit overwhelmed. I was going to go and sit in the YouthShed,
the quiet corner.
You know what I mean?
And also, I think lots of the learners with us who have disengaged from their education, college can be such a different environment that when they come to us, they naturally sort of re-engage themselves into. I think a lot of learners don't like the yes sir, yes miss of school,
Yeah.
and the really intense structure of it. College provides a little bit more of a, an open environment for these learners.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think that the youth sheds can really sort of provide that bridge between sort of education, identity, belonging. I think it sort of wraps things up nicely.
And I think as well, I think it's too important of a first week or two, because that's the make or break, isn't it?
Yeah.
I often have a little moan about the prison service because I had such an opportunity to go into education in prison, and it was a rubbish experience. So I didn't bite I could have come out going, do you know what, I want to go back to college and all that, but I didn't, because actually it was a really negative thing. So you do not want ever your first week at college to be a really negative thing, because it's a crossroads, isn't it? You're on a crossroads.
Determines where you go from there.
Yeah. So if you can capture them in that first week or two, that's their life potentially.
Yeah, absolutely.
And their view of education as well, because that's what happened to me. I went to Coleg up in North Wales. It was known as the Second Chance University. That's where I first stepped back into the classroom, and what I found undid all the years of what education had done for me. Just that first experience with positive role model teachers, that sense. I always say Coleg, because it was residential. 90% of the people there were there because they'd missed out on education the first time round. It was actually for coal miners and that.
Right,
It was to re-educate coal miners when things started changing. I often say now, as a teacher, and I understand these things, if Maslow was writing his hierarchy of needs now, he'd model it on Coleg, because it was everything. It was your sense of your food, the air you breathed and all of that. But then it was a sense of community.
Yeah.
We had everyone came to my room to check I was all right, from the vice principal to the cleaner.
Yeah.
They'd pop, "How you doing, Scott, today?" and all that. It was a community, and that's what we're trying to. Well, we are creating with our young people, is a community where we can bash away all those years of negative image of school and whatnot. And I can't think of a better place to do that than bang in the middle of here.
Yeah, I agree.
To the side, maybe to the side.
Yeah.
We don't even know where it's going to be yet, do we?
No.
So,
but that's really exciting. I'm really looking forward to getting involved and seeing how things pan out. But, guys, thank you so much for this chat. It's been really lovely. So, Amy and Scott, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.